Yeah, that's very sad because then what happens when they grow up and become the older teenagers?
What do you mean?
The same guys that's going through that on the Ritalin.
Oh.
And yeah,
I just told you. I just told
these are
you.
the adults that we are dealing with right now that grow up to be 20-some year old
There we
guys.
go. Yeah.
That's finding themselves misplaced out in society, and is doing a lot of crazy stuff.
And if so, you got a guy that's like you said in their 20s, whatever. First of all, living in New York, regardless, especially a man in New York, black man in New York, black single man in New York. How many brothers got their own spot, their own apartment? There's some out there, but not rare, not too many. Because first of all, rent in New York, the average brother, where you working at to pay your rent? What is you gotta be bringing home a certain amount of bread. Now it's millions of brothers out there working, but how many could afford rent on their own? So we just talking about people that's working. So imagine when you got people out here with mental health issues, or that's been through special ed, that didn't get the proper training on how to get a job. That creates more of an issue as a black man out here living in New York. If it's already hard for us, dude, yeah.
How hard it is.
Now mental health don't mean that you full blown psycho crazy now.
No, just
mental health just mean your mind ain't right. Yeah, your mind ain't right. You have a health issue in your mental. So for that could be for any circumstances where, because if you honestly, every human being, especially black Americans, we all got mental health issues, all of us. So we really can't point and say the mental health people. We gotta start including ourselves in the mental health conversation. Like I said, it's different levels. The mental health, you ain't gotta be full grown monkey crazy, but we all got some sort of mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? We all of us. It's not a black American walking around here that can say they don't have no mental health issues.
I think a person saying that they have no mental health issues is like a person saying that they don't have no sin.
Because think about it. Some people stress over things that you will never stress over. And you may look at that like, man, what's wrong with you? Or you crazy? Like, why you keep worried about that, stressing about that? That's a mental health issue. Your mind is that stressed out, over something. That's a mental health issue, man. People that allow themselves to get stressed like that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think the cares of the world is a mental health issue?
The cares of the world is a mental health issue? Yeah. Yeah. You know why? Because anybody that don't look like me, I'm not fighting for. So that could be a mental health issue. Anybody who don't look like me, I'm not fighting for. I don't care what they doing with ICE. That don't concern me. Until they look like me.
I know what you mean. When I say cares of the world, I mean more like the simple things like rent, mortgage, car note, insurance.
Of course, if you say that are those cares of the world mental health issues, yes. But now you got to think mental health. Like I said, it could affect people differently. This man losing his car may affect you more than, this man losing his car may be affected more than you losing your car. You might say, oh man, they want to take it. I was, whatever. They can have it. his thing he might jump off a bridge if they got to take his car, you know. So yeah, problems in the world or things can be mental health issues for people.
Yeah.
Bills don't stop.
No, of course
All
not.
right, so if you ain't got no income, if you find yourself without no income, the bills don't stop. That might be a mental health issue for somebody. They can't pay, you know.
Cares of the world is something I'm always kind of, very much concerned with because they say the cares of the world keep us separated from the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Because we're focused on the cares of the world instead of Him. It causes confusion with our relationship with the Creator. You know, and it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy. It's a hard thing to do, but that's where it is. You ever heard like your old timers say, at your weakest, you're strongest in Christ? I'm sure you heard. That's kind of what that means. You know what I'm saying? At our weakest, we're strongest in Christ. This is when we got what we think is strengths and all these other things. Those are usually confusions and barriers that keep you, confused with, what's really again taking place. When you stripped and you don't have anything, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't no way you can provide for yourself. Whatever is given was definitely given by the Lord. You understand how that works, and then if you really meditate on that, you realize the whole time is that. You know what I'm saying? The whole time is that. One of the things in the scriptures, one of the stories that I like to share, and that I'm a master of it. These are things that I study every day of my life and keep in the forefront of my mind. Jesus is walking with his disciples one day, as he always do. I paraphrase so people can understand. And they asked him about the same thing, about, the cares of the world, about stability. Like, how is our rent? Some of us left families. You know what I'm saying? We got bills, rent, this, that, different, things going on. How is walking with you and us following you in the walk with you going to take care of the mortgage, the rent, the food, the, tuition, whatever, how these things going to be done?